Does the president have a point? I mean, should all of these funds, at the very least, warrant the respect of not being ignored, of having a conversation?
He doesn't have a point, because the United States funds the Israeli occupation of the Palestinian territories to the tune of $4 billion in military aid every year.
But that's not the point. The point is the money that the Palestinians are getting.
But it is the point. It is the point. If you're going to give money to the people who are oppressing you, then you're not really doing people a favor by giving them a lot less money to try to basically feed themselves while you're supporting the situation that is keeping them economically destitute.
So can the Palestinians reject this money? Can they actually live without it? I mean, there have been instances where money has been pledged from Arab governments to the Palestinians. Those pledges have not materialized. The U.S. has been in a position where it has had to put pressure on other governments to come through with this money. Can the Palestinian Authority survive without U.S. aid, Omar?
I'm not sure they can, actually. They're pretty much dependent on U.S. aid at this point, and so is, unfortunately, much of the Palestinian economy. But the problem is the fact that the Palestinians are being asked to come and join a peace process that everybody in the world understands at this point is a sham in exchange for that money. So they're put in a situation where they're basically damned if they do and damned if they don't. The Israeli government under Netanyahu has declared that they're expanding settlements. The Likud party has voted unanimously to annex all the settlements into Israel proper. And you have the Trump administration with this one-sided recognition of Jerusalem without any criticism of Israel's expansion and entrenchment of the occupation, effectively saying there is no process that lead to an independent Palestinian state. So it's really preposterous to expect the Palestinians to come and join a negotiations table under these circumstances.
The president said that this is still up for negotiation. He didn't rule out Palestinians' presence in Jerusalem. How is the correct response to then just not talk to the United States after that?
About this, he mentioned that the final status of it is up for negotiation. In the tweet he sent out today, he said that the status of Jerusalem has been taken off the table of the negotiations. But the important thing to remember is that the East Jerusalem has been illegally annexed by Israel, to the condemnation of the entire world, every major human rights organization, the United Nations, the International Court of Justice.
But I'm questioning the response of the Palestinians of not responding, of cutting the U.S. out, cutting the U.S. participation in all of this, considering the president did say that this is still up for negotiation. Is that a constructive approach?
I don't think there is a constructive approach. The peace process has been dead long before this particular announcement, and primarily because the United States has shown unwillingness to put any meaningful pressure on Israel to end the occupation. So what was needed at a time for the U.S. to show some leadership and revive the peace process by putting pressure on Israel, instead they gifted Israel a recognition of Jerusalem that was basically without constraints. It did not mention anything about the Palestinian right to East Jerusalem, did not mention anything about the part that is illegally annexed. And that's the problem, is that you have one side being rewarded with all kinds of recognitions and aid, and while the other side is being told to just come over to the negotiations table and negotiate when they've been offered nothing for literally decades of negotiations that have led to absolutely nothing except an entrenchment of the occupation and expansion of the settlements, which are, by the way, are absolutely the crucial issue here. I mean, I know it's convenient to move away from it, but the Palestinians did not say we're not going to negotiate until every last refugee return. They said we're not going to negotiate until the settlements are stopped being built on Palestinian land. That theft of land has to stop before any negotiations can commence.
Omar, clearly an issue we're not going to resolve today. We're out of time. Appreciate your insight, though. Omar Badar, thank you very much.